face. That's someone trying to pull your chain.
Right.
And there's so much of that on Facebook.
Yeah. And
every shadow is circled. Every bush has an arrow pointing to it. I don't buy it. Sorry.
Yeah.
Nope.
Well, and I think that's interesting, because you have sort of a graphic artist background. And people should take a look at some of the artwork that you've created. It's amazing, and I know that's funny because you've done sort of really nice things for friends of mine, and I've seen that you did some for Barb Shoop and for Susie.
I love Barb Shoop.
Yeah.
She might be the queen of the woo, but I love Barb Shoop.
Well, and this is the thing about it. I mean, Barb Shoop. Barb is a straight shooter, and if she says, that with that, and if anybody is wanting to know why I'm bringing Barb Shoop up, but she took a video one time that was very, very interesting, and it says, you do a search for what's called Barb Shoop, and then it's SHUPE, cloaked Sasquatch, right?
Yes, and there is something there.
Yes,
and defies a lot. It's not a bear, it's not a raccoon, and it's weird.
Right.
It's so quick. And, when she put cloaked in front of it, I admonished her for this on After Hours when I interviewed her. Because you put cloaked as the video title, no scientist is ever going to want to look at it.
Right.
And then she said, well, I'm not out to discover Bigfoot. And I'm like, oh! So what she has in that video is amazing. And I would never poo-poo that at all. But unfortunately, putting cloaked on it, when we don't even have a definition of what cloaking is, except for Star Trek.
Right.
However, animals do camouflage.
Right. That's very true. I mean, it does make you think of a Romulan fleet, coming in, but this is one of those things where we use terms in the Bigfoot world that don't make sense to me, in some ways, because if we were speaking about anything else, and if for example an alien came into my room tonight and came through the window or whatever, and then decided that he was going to talk to me, I would say, that it used telepathy with me, not mind speak. For whatever reason, we just like to have our own, terms of what we want to call it. But I mean, let's call it what it is. It's if that's what's happening, and you're being spoken to in your mind by Bigfoot, which is a very hard thing to say. I mean, I'll say
it's a trigger. It's a trigger for me.
Yeah, I understand. Well, here's the thing.
Your audience doesn't know why, though.
Well, and I'll say this. Here's the thing. I've spoken to a lot of people, that say that they can do that, and my point of the matter is that this happens to them, and then they get mad because people say, nobody believes me. I say, well, that's because of the fact that you cannot prove it. You cannot prove it. I mean, really, to a certain degree, huge people like, mystics and prophets and people like that, all you have to do is be wrong once, and then it's no longer valid.
Sylvia Brown.
Yeah.
Yes. But you know what? You forgot to mention Les Stroud claims he experienced mind speak.
Right.
And here's why it's a trigger for me. Hearing another voice in your head that's not welcomed, that's not normal, it's a form of rape. Think about it. That's a strong word to use.
Yeah.
It is a violation. Someone entering your head, which is part of your body, giving you the secret access code to come visit them across the hill. How weird is that? How would they know English, first of all? Now, I've talked to Tom Control, who's quote-unquote woo and has had experiences with the Sasquatch mentally, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
And he says, well, it's like the Holy Spirit trying to guide you. And hearing all these different reasons for mind speak. No. If I were to hear a voice in my head saying, we are the forest people, we are a hill away if you want to come see us, my God, I would be freaked out.
Yeah.
Freaked. I would be so freaked out. The people like, what happened to Richter? Where's he been? He's at the doctor's office. Because I just heard something in my head that's not supposed to be there. Not one of these people have ever claimed that kind of a frightening experience.
Yeah. Well,
okay. No, I'm gonna get real personal here with your audience.
Yeah.
When I was dating a man who physically raped me, I am a victim of rape, and the feeling of having someone do something to you so violating. What didn't hurt me was the physical aspect of being raped. It was the mental abuse of what I was being put through is what hurt more.
Right.
So I'm coming from a different point of view when it comes to mind speak, because that's not like Kevin walking out in the woods. Sasquatch people, communicate with me. I am one with you. I'm doing my yoga pose, and I'm now chanting, yang, 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 yang. Hello, Kevin. We are the forest people. Oh, I've made a connection. I can hear them in my head. No.
Yeah.
It's until you have experienced rape, physical rape, this mind speak, SHIT, is the most ludicrous thing out there. Now, granted, you know what? Maybe it is real. There's no body. There's no proof.
Yeah.
Maybe. But I come from a realist point of view. I don't do drugs. I rarely drink, maybe a bottle of beer once a month, if that, So who knows what people are taking when they're out there Bigfooting? I know a lot of Bigfooters like marijuana.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a huge trigger for me.
Yeah.
Now, if I had never been physically violated, all right, maybe I might be open to the whole mind speak thing. And maybe your listeners might be upset with me for equating mind speak with rape. No, it is rape. A person is entering your mind without being welcomed.
Right.
I think someone's calling you.
Oh, well, I don't know what's up with that, but anyway.
Maybe it's mind speak. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, I'm sorry to get on that tangent.
No.
I just wanted people to understand, if you truly are hearing voices in your head, question where, why, and how. Bigfoot should not even be in any of those questions or answers. Right. What is that?
I think it's one of those things where I think that in a lot of ways, there is a little bit of a differentiation. I think that, and I will just say this: I completely understand your point of view on this. Okay, but if you are asking to communicate with something, people feel like they communicate with stones or trees or whatever. I mean, in those types of ways. I don't think that they're necessarily having a situation where they're necessarily having a conversation with that, but that's all I'm going to say about that. I have never experienced a voice telling me to do that, but I have had, sort of and I think we all do this, Richter, to a degree, and I'd like you're obviously a very intelligent person. And I think that you're also a very introspective person, because I don't think that somebody who did not have, that would be willing to share that with a bunch of people, would do this without actually kind of looking at themselves a little bit and saying, what is it that I can provide to, this group of people? So some people might be upset about it, and some people wouldn't. But I mean, it's part of your experience, and so therefore, why hide it? In a situation where we're talking about coming forward and saying, I've had this experience, but don't talk about that part of experience of your life. This is my point. But
also, Kevin, real quick,
yeah.
Many people who said they've experienced mind speak, their definition of what happened differs from person to person.
Exactly. That's my point. Is that we in a lot of ways, this is true of Bigfoot too, in a way, because Bigfoot has been one of those creatures that you can truly say over multiple tribes of Native American tribes that there's different approaches to what these beings are. So, and sometimes within a tribe. So I've taught on a reservation, and I've I have a master's degree in Native American education. So, and one of the things that I did, somebody's trying to get a hold of you.
No, it's not me. I don't. My phone.
No. Somebody's trying to get a hold of to ring the show.
Oh, well, that's right.
Yeah, I know, but it's not. It's not time yet.
Well, who cares? This is all fluid to it.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
Are you there? You looking for Kevin for the Night Dreams Radio?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is Matt.
Oh, hey, Matt.
Yeah, this is Matt.
Okay, you're on the air with Richter.
How's it going? Oh, sorry. Are we on now?
Yeah.
Hey, hi, Richter. This is a great show. Great hearing you guys chat about such cool stuff. I heard you guys talking about how we have no scientific recognition of terms like cloaking. And there are a lot of other terms like that are so widely used, yet it's such a good point. Like, you know, as soon as you use the word cloaking, science is going to completely ignore that. But the funny thing is also, like, there's all these people using terms like cloaking as if everybody just knows what that means, or beings of light, or things like that. And they get so frustrated when people don't just instantly recognize what they're talking about. And I think I think you're onto something with, you know, we have to use terminology that isn't just circular references, you know, terms that some of our buddies or whatever understand that aren't really scientifically or publicly recognized. You know, I like having these conversations about you know, what people are seeing and stuff, but I think we adopt terms and we don't even realize where they come from sometimes, and maybe it's the best we got, but sometimes I think that's actually hurting the conversation a little bit, and we need to be more either step towards the scientific community and actually embrace terms that maybe they understand, or we have to like change our terminology. I'm not sure what needs to happen. Maybe like both.
I'm gonna mute you for a second, Matt, so that that Richter could talk. Go ahead, Richter.
Yeah.
Okay, so Matt, as of right now, no primate with hair can camouflage, but lizards, toads, octopus, etc.
Okay, so Matt, as of right now, no.
However, who's to say that if Sasquatch is real, that it is the first primate to camouflage with hair? We don't know. We don't have a body. That's why we need a body to study. But then when you think about it, all these different colors of Sasquatch hair mixed in with moss and with leaves and dirt and foliage, they have a natural camouflage ability. Once there, might not be there anymore because it's perfectly blended into its element.
Yeah.
Like a ghillie suit.
Right.
And that could be a lot of things that people see. By the time your eyes focus on whatever it is you just saw, it is completely blended in to the forest environment, and you've lost it.
Right. Yeah. And I think a lot of people don't realize that, you know, that the human eye and the human mind does look for common shapes. That's part of our evolutionary process. Is that we look for things that are shaped like a bipedal thing, because most bipedal things that we saw in the woods were a threat to us, and also we look for we automatically look for shapes, and this is why camouflage is the way it is. It's supposed to be disruptive in nature, so it's supposed to break up your body shape. It's supposed to do these other things, and so. This is why pareidolia exists, because of the fact that, we look for shapes in our eyes and noses and faces and things that aren't there. And so, but I think that a lot of times people don't seem to take that into consideration as far as that goes. I mean, so if you're trying to hide out in the woods, the best thing you can do is to, and when we were all kids playing hide and go seek, the best thing you could do is sit and not move.
Yes. Perfectly still.
Yeah, and be perfectly still, because most people will try to bolt if somebody gets close to them or whatever. But okay, so I agree with Matt in the fact that this is one of those things where we have to have a commonality.